alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Very good afternoon. Ladies and gentlemen, distinguished guests, I would like to welcome you back again in PMI KSA Chapter Global Project Management Forum. And here I am going to present one of our wonderful speakers. First of all, my name is Hazem Al Khayyat. I serve this nation and the world as a project manager within SABIC. And also, I'm working here as a volunteer within PMI KSA. So I'm here going to introduce one of our wonderful speakers who brought with her vast experience. She served Australian state government for e-platform transformation and built her career in IT consulting firm, Accenture, and the largest search engine company, Google. She recently has run a global business as a chief business officer on KSA and deployed construction technology to the world's biggest oil and energy company as the part of Vision 2030. She will share up-to-date and real story of digital transformation. The topic of her today is going to be digital transformation and project management with data and people. The secret of success behind the scenes, cultivating culture for continuous change. Please join me to applause and welcome her, Mrs. Rachel Soomee Cho.
Thank you. Thank you very much. I hope you guys can hear me. Yes? Okay. This technology is first to me, so please have an eye contact and respond to me if you can hear me well. Please. Yes, thank you. I want to make it as, engaging as possible so that it's not like a one-way communication. So I'll ask questions and you will think through about the digital transformation with me today. So my name is Rachel Soomee Cho. The topic is digital transformation project management with data and people. So for this session, it will get divided into 4. At the background, I would like to throw the topic of digital transformation with the 3 questions of why, what, and how. And we'll move on to the part of the data, technology adoption spots and how technology changes the way that we work. 2, I would love to share the real life story with how actually the technology was deployed to the project. Last part, I will close this session with highlighting the fact that cultivating culture for continuous change is the key for the digital transformation under the Vision 2030. So we will start the digital transformation, the keyword. The first question is why? Why are we focusing on this keyword? Why is this important? Is this really important? According to McKinsey in 2022, 66% of the executives, they said that their revenue has improved by decision making powered by 4 factors: artificial intelligence, machine learning, natural language processing, and data. Not only that, they also said 85% of their metrics got improved. So what it means is the data really showed the results, not just intangible, but also tangible results. The reason why that I'm bringing these 2 factors is 1, the survival of the business is really about money and the revenue. At the end, if you cannot source the capital into the business, you cannot run your business. So generating revenue itself out of the digital transformation is the core to really drive the innovation and the technology towards the success of the business. Second, even if you make your profit in your business and you have survived, it is critical to continuously improve your metrics and outperform based on your previous records. So those 2 really shows, okay, digital transformation is something not just up in the air in the cloud. It really makes an impact to the business. And that's why we have to have a focus on this topic. Moving on, this is what I want to make it as engaging as possible. Digital transformation, what is it? So I'm giving you three options just to think through. One, is this technology? So does digital transformation mean technology itself? Just answer yourself. B. Okay, before we're moving on to the B, I would like to speak about technology. By definition, technology means you're utilizing scientific knowledge to apply to the practical practices in the field of industry. So what it means, even if you have a scientific knowledge, if that's not practical, if that's not applicable, if that does not make a good impact to the business, that is not technology. That we call science. It has to be applicable. It has to be usable for the sake of the business and the industry. So that's about technology. So you have one option in your head as A. B, transformation. So let's think about the word of transformation when we actually use this word. In what context? We have other similar words like a change, shift, but transformation itself, it really means you are drastically shifting from the point of A to the point of B. So it's really the way that you see extreme change by having the destination to where to go. So that's about transformation. And option C, state of change. So there's a slight difference between B and C because the state of change really means the state itself to continuously change. It's not about A or B. It's not about destination. It's just you keep changing as you are, as you can imagine the normal word of change. So by having these three concepts, I would like you to think through how would you like to answer out of these three options, or you can come up with your own definition of what the digital transformation is. So I wanted to make this a session as engaging and as more, how do I say, thought-provoking as possible. So I brought this message for you. I want us to take a look at the difference between digitization, digitalization, and digital transformation. So we have these 5 phases, starting with digital transformation. Digitized information. So before we look at the stages, I will look at the broad definition by the digitization. What it means is you're simply moving your 2D world to 3D world. So from analog to digital, and that's it. Digitalization means you're using technology and information to transform the operation. The difference between first and the second is about data and information. If you do not have data, if you do not have information, you cannot create the process. Once you create the process, you know A, B, C, D, E, and then you streamline the processes so that you find where to automate it. That it means by digitalization. So a lot of companies, they know how to archive data, storage the data, they use the cloud instead of the on-premise. But have they really been processed into the procedure and automate the processes? I don't know. So we've been speaking up to digitization, digitalization, and moving up to the digital transformation. Okay, we will read it through just like a good girl, good boy, nice students. We will read it through the definition. A series of deep and coordinated culture, workforce, and technology shifts that enable new educational and operating models and transform an institution's operations, strategic directions, and value proposition. So you might want to pick up some words of the difference between digitization and digital transformation. Moving on. Then how? Now we have some understanding of the different phases of the digital journey. Then how can we really transform the organization towards the innovation. This is one of the examples. I just want to highlight that we can put on this side as a timeline, stage versus, we can also say phases. The vertical line, we put it AI growth. So AI as in a representative technology that where we can apply as a representing the technology. So you can apply computer vision, machine learning, anything else. So it just simplify the things to make it easy. Okay, when we start, we form a team. What can we do without having any workforces? So we start with the team. At that specific stage, it is very important to form executive direction to inform people the importance of the digital transformation and also how they will benefit to their growth and promotion in the corporate company. So we start with the company-wide announcement of the digital transformation. I'm going to go on why. If your boss's boss, executives, and the C-levels are not telling you, hey guys, this is the most important initiative that we have to achieve in this year. We will focus on to the vision. This is our mission. Let's get to the team and work towards the goal. If nobody is guiding the direction, we are setting at the environment where we can easily be broken out. So we need to form the sense of spirit, the teamwork, and the direction. So that's number one. Who plays the big role? Leaders. Two, strategy. Okay, we know people. They said this is important. That's where we're gonna go. Then how? Who's gonna tell us how? So the strategy team, they placed in their role. So people, processes, products, and technologies. This is a stage where we bring the project management, professionals, engineers, technical experts, consultants from outside, as well as internal strategy team, plus leadership. Bring them together, have a sit. Guys, how can we achieve that goal that we set in the phase one? Then they drill down into the action items and moving on to the stage where who's doing what. So for that stage, it is critical to have a consulting firm outside. Why? They are not biased. They are objective. They are politically non-biased. Inside, we also need a person or a team of people who drive the innovation with their internal workforce. Once you form the strategy as a planning, then what? What are we going to do? We have to test. Do you think spending billions of dollars for the consulting firm really works in a real place? Most of the case, I'm sorry if you're from KPMG, EY, PwC, I love you guys. I used to work in consulting firm. However, in most of the case, implementation is a different story from the strategy. So what we need to do, just to save the money and save the time, we need to test, experiment with agility. So what we do is we are running a pilot programs. This is like a mini M&M. It's not a big chocolate. It's a tiny one, but it has all the taste in it. Why this phase is so important? If you find the flaws and the problems and executional issues, you fix it right away. You move quick. You change your plan. And then you have plan B. You have another round of the program, and then you fix it again. So this is really the feedback iterations that we run in the pilot program. Another point of why this is important is that Vision 2030 is not a joke. This is a real. Guys, it's happening. You're spending trillions of dollars for the giant project. You do not want to mess it up. You run the mini test, you fail fast, you fail forward. So that's why the pilot program is so important. Next, training. Moving back, we know where to go. We know how to do it. We will test. Then what? During the journey of we're testing a program, we will see some people are rejecting the direction. Of course. Some people will not happy with the plan. Then we need to form a group where they really support the whole initiative. So it comes with the education and training. Last part, culture. So this is a big word of culture. We will cover this later on. But later stage, it really drills down to how we cultivate the culture where we can fail fast and fail forward. If you are busy, you can leave now because all the rest is about the detail. So let's move on. Are we good? Okay, if you're good, can you thumbs up? Can you put thumbs up? Thank you. That's my emotional support. Okay, so we are done with the 0. We will go over 1, 2, 3. 1, project management process. We have 4 processes, if I may define. We plan, we execute, monitor, and we close. When we already dealt with the first 2 parts, the third part, when you set the goal and you actually execute it, you need the parameters to see if this project is going well or not. So you constantly put your eyes on the projects by monitoring the projects. That's about the third stage. Lastly, once you close your project, you look back on the whole time and see what's the lessons that we learn so that they can be applied for our next project. So from the angle of project management, 1, 2, 3, 4, the blocks below are the type of technologies that we can apply. Plan. From certain technologies, we can have risk assessment, resource allocation, and ROI analysis automatically. 2, execute. Process automation and deliverable digitization. What it means by deliverable digitization is that let's think if it's like a movie. You're the executive of Neom or you're executive of something else in a big project. You wake up in the morning on your bed, you open your phone, and you can see if all the projects are on time and budget or not. It will give you an alarm if there's any problem. It will even give you the suggestions by the predictive analytics. So what it means is the role of project management could be reduced by having those technology. However, what we can play a role is to actually make a sound judgment by having a more accurate information / data by having the technology. Execute. Monitor. Let's say that you are building a museum in Jeddah and you are the owner. Your EPC companies and contractors are building the museum in the spot. What you can see is you can see the real-time data by drones or 360 cameras whatsoever. You can see in a visual manner in images or videos both so that you don't really have to fly to go there. That's about the real-time data for monitoring purposes. Quantified results, yes. Not only you see the visual, you can see a number. Let's say expected project deadline is 2000, let's say 2030. As of now, you can say it's 0.5% of the completion rate. That's what you can say by having the technology which shows the quantified result. Lastly, on time and budget checker. That's what I explained about the movie scene. That's about that technology. Lastly, we're archiving lessons learned from the closure stage. So I'm highlighting again that how important to experiment a task so that we make sure that the bigger project can be smoothly run without any operational or executional issues. So we're moving on to the stage 2. We only have point 3 left and we will close this session. So I This slide, when I created this, I was thinking, how can I share my real life story with the technology deployment in the biggest oil and energy company under the mission of Vision 2030? And then I really come down to the points of the four phases, so that rather than I'm giving you the, all the full story, I give you the essence of the experience. So this is the technology deployment process for pilot program. One, you discover the needs which serve the objectives of the organization in project management. Once you discover the needs of what you need, like this, let's say that you need process automation or ROI analysis, you have to know what kind of needs that you have in the context of project management. And then you move on, examine potential outcomes that you can expect from the pilot program. Having this technology does not mean that you will see the fruitful outcome, because each project has such a great characteristics, and it has a variety of unexpected issues. So you need to really examine the scenario-based analysis, and then see potential outcomes, what you can get out of this experiment. 3, you plan a pilot project with the shortest timeline. Yes, it has to be very short. Pilot program cannot be 5 years. It has to be less than 5, depending on the size, but what I conducted, it was less than 5 months. The cost of project was billions of dollars, but we took the initiative to run the pilot project as shortest as possible. And minimum cost. You should not hire extra person for this pilot program. It's better to have a minimum resource so that we can just check the water and see what happens. And doable executional actions. When you think of digital transformation, people think you have to really reorganize the organization, do drastic changes all at once. No, we start with the actionable items one by one, sip by sip, and then you have a full cup of water. Lastly, prove the values of what? Of the pilot program. What kind of values? The potential outcomes that we expected. Can we really achieve that out of the experiment? You said yes or no. And then you continue the iteration. If you see there's no hope, it's not doable, it's not achievable, it costs too much, and you stop and hold, and you go back to the project stage again. You redo the plan for another pilot program. Okay. I personally and professionally faced an issue and challenges when I was running the pilot program. Why? How can we measure the success? By nature, it's an experiment. Are we okay not to set any objective or parameters? No. Is this expected? No. So I came down to the point where I had lots of discussions with executives. Nobody knows the answer. So my last 2 years of experience is all here. That I started with the value creation, what it means by prove the values. Once you said yes, I moved on to the proof the value of productivity, which is not as close to the money side, like financial side, but it's indirectly related to the expenses. So I gradually moved from the value creation. I proved the number of production going up. Accordingly, the cost has always also been saved. So it has been my journey that navigate, what would be the best, because once we also discussed to set the cost as an initial success measure. However, sometimes when you do something innovative out of nowhere, it's very hard to connect the dots to what it has inside of the company. Because as of now, the company, the way it runs is, it has not been innovated yet. So you can never find the success measures which exist in the company now. So you start with the value creations, collaborating with the existing parameter. Once you prove that, you find indirect measure, and then you relate that to the expense later on. So that's the way that I has run the pilot. I'm not saying this is the best. I'm just sharing my experience. I would love to listen the better story and learn from you too. So see what kind of effect? It's a snowball effect. You start from small, you grow one by one, and by just naturally you will prove the value of your plan, your executional way, and also results. Yeah, most important is yeah, he's telling me just to stop it. Okay, I'll make it. Can I stop? Can I skip this and I go to the conclusion? Okay. No, I want to mention one thing. Sorry. Yeah. I just want to say the people who are really push this innovation, Vision 2030, digital transformation, it's people. Four type of stakeholders, requesters who are giving me my job, basically. Technology providers, they have their original technology. Contractors, the Saudi projects are usually really big, so they are contracting outsourcing companies. It is inevitable to have contractors and project management professionals. You guys are the one who's running the show. The problem is PM professionals are lacking technical side. Technology providers, they know what they do, but they cannot really relate themselves to PMs. Those two guys are working together. They have no idea what's going on. So what I believe is we have to focus on people, culture, empowering employees. Employees meaning by all of these, training and development, and leadership. 2 minutes, I'm done. The culture framework elements. So I drill out down into from people to culture. A group of people who have their values and missions and stuff we call culture. So framework wise, when we set the digital transformation journey, I would urge you to consider set the right goals, values on this way, mission, vision, explain the purpose, hire people who are aligned with this, share the strategies, and you actually really solidify those into policies and rules. I didn't put the checkbox on those two, but you don't want to get forced by the policies or rules, whatever. You just want to be driven by the culture and the leader. So, going back, I'm going to examine this and I will end my session. I'm sorry. What is digital transformation? A, technology. B, transformation. 3, I forgot, a state of change. I would like to share that MIT slogan, they said, digital transformation is a series of deep coordinated culture, workforce, and technology shifts that enable the new educational and operating models and transform operations and value proposition. This is my last slide. I was too passionate. I hope you find it helpful. I would love to hear your story next year about your digital transformation. My effort for Vision 2030 was just one drop of the water, but I hope we can exchange knowledge here in this forum and we build a better future for Saudi Arabia. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Rachel, for this wonderful. Thank you, Ms. Rachel, for
Sorry,
this
I cannot hear you. Yes.
Thank you, Ms. Rachel, for this wonderful speech.
Yes.
I would like from the audience, if you would like to have any question to the speaker, I will take just only 2 questions, one from the front and
Oh, hello. Thank you for the
Can you
informative.
get the mic closer to your mouth,
Yeah, you
please?
can
Thank
hear
you.
now?
Yes.
Yeah, thank you for this informative presentation. And I like the way that you are processing everything there.
Thank you.
My only questions, it's not a questions, I need some elaborating regarding to the pilot program
Sure.
for the mega projects.
Sure.
How we can do this one in that size as a pilot. I mean, it will gonna cost eventually. It's gonna be a long time eventually. So, what judgment that we're gonna have to do this one? That's the only one.
That's very difficult question.
You can skip it if you like.
Well, thank you for your question. I think that would be very insightful for all the audience. How do we make a judgment to run experimental pilot out of this huge project? The duration and the amount of budget is heavily depending on the type of project. If you really have a case, I would love to sit down with you and have a business case discussion. Rule of thumb is I encourage you to have 10%. Let's say 10 years of project, original, have 1 year as a pilot. 5 years, 5 months. Just have 10% start and then you gradually roll out. Would that be enough for you? Yes, thank you.
Okay, another question, the last question.
Yes.
Hi, thank you and love your passion.
Thank you.
I have a question because I've
Yes.
had experience with pilots failing
Yes.
due to poor quality of data.
Mm.
And sometimes you get the output of the pilot showing certain analytics
Yes.
where an expert would come and say, this does not really reflect what the right
course.
decision is. And then I found, okay, then we need to go back and say, okay, it didn't fail because of the transformation. It failed because the inputs and the data is wrong.
I agree.
But I don't know, is the challenge here the culture of how people capture the data or just more governance on how the data is captured? I just wanted to know from your own experience.
Sure.
Thank you.
No problem. Thank you for the question first. I believe your question is really valid and it does happen. It happened to me too, that we call sample errors. Pilot does not represent the whole project, of course. The purpose of having this pilot is not to reflect or represent the original project, but to find the risks and really discover any crisis, or any improving points that we can find earlier stage. So if you have very specific case about the data issue, I would love to sit down with you and have a chat. And for this round, due to that, we have our next speaker as a courtesy, I would love to move on to the next. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Rachel. And on behalf of PMI KSA, we would like to present this
Oh,
trophy and
really?
thank you for your speech.
Oh, thank
And-
you.
Yes,
I have to
please.
get it?
Yeah.
Oh, taking a photo. Thank you. Thank you so much. Yes, thank you.